Somebody come get her. She dancing like a stripper.
Babe, get off TikTok. It's time for the Stretch It Out podcast.
Ooh, okay.
Yes. Goodness. Couldn't get Audrey to stop laughing before hitting record. We somehow made it through. Welcome back to the Stretch It Out podcast, everybody. My name is Nick Stretch. I'm here with my baby sis, Audrey.
Whoop, whoop. And we have a special guest today. If you can hear her giggling.
She's already pumped.
So, welcome to Podcastland, to Genna. This is Jenna's first time in Podcastland. What do you think of it so far?
Having a great time with you two.
Already having a good time.
Yeah, already. Can't get the smile off my face.
Genna is actually our first person on the podcast, including Nick and I, to get Zencastr up and working the fastest. She has the world record for getting on Zencastr.
Yeah, I love how we make it sound like we've had more than 3 people do it too. I like that. I think we're good at that.
I know, right?
You guys made me feel really smart 2 seconds ago, and now I don't know about it anymore.
That's okay. We can edit that out in post, Genna. Don't worry about it.
Just so you know, Genna, he never edits anything out in post.
I don't anymore. I'm so lazy.
But thank you for having me. I'm actually really excited. Never really spoke on a podcast like this because honestly, I do not like my voice when it's played back. So
really, I think it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is the time for new things to emerge in our lives. And guess what?
Amen.
Maybe I, want to start on your podcast a little more often.
I like it. I think you have a voice for it. You should. I wouldn't be surprised if you started your own podcast tomorrow. I think that'd be freaking crazy cool.
Oh, damn. We would be rivalries.
Well, we would be like buddies because everyone in Podcastland gets along.
Oh.
So.
She would have 4
it's
listeners.
all new to me.
Yes.
And we would still have 30.
So
I just want to talk a little bit about Genna for people who don't know her.
Yeah, because I want to learn more about Genna because that's the thing. When we were chatting before the episode, before we hit record,
the pre-podcast land,
I was already telling Genna because she was like, "Well, what are we going to talk about?" Just so you guys know, like everybody already knows we don't talk about what we say we're going to talk about ever. But she's like, "What do you want to talk about?" And I was like, honestly, I just want to get to know you because Audrey always talks so highly of Genna, and
she's so sweet.
She's got to be awesome.
Yeah. I think I talk about you quite a bit. I didn't realize that.
No, you really do. I
gotta tone it down. I'm kidding.
Well, we're best friends.
Yeah, but I could. Yeah, you guys are like besties. And you know what else is really cool? I know a fun fact about Genna that nobody else knows.
What's that?
Because you haven't told anybody yet.
What's a fun fact? It's
not that fun, but it is kind of cool. Especially if this podcast ever took off in the future. But her and her brother did the intro. I don't remember which one it was.
Oh, yep.
But it was awesome.
It was the quarantine.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, we were stuck in the middle.
Yes,
of
and it was a really,
pandemic.
really good intro.
Yeah, we're out in Connecticut now. We kind of
still remembers her lines.
Yeah, we escaped that. It's kind of getting to the point where it was pretty claustrophobic, but it was nice to see the city kind of come together in that kind of an aspect and be in the heart of it,
Yeah, I can imagine.
You guys got hit hard with all that.
Yeah, and it was nice.
And
because,
I don't know if you noticed.
What?
Oh, go on.
No,
you'll
go,
get used to
Audrey.
it. We do that all the time. Talk over each other.
No, you go.
No, you do it.
Sorry.
I think we're getting a little bit of delay. Like they do on the news. Yeah, I think we're getting one of those. So
is it from me?
That's awesome. Though. I think it's going to make it more exciting. Yeah, that's what it is.
So yeah, we actually have West Coast here. We have Central, and now we have East Coast on the podcast right now.
That's awesome.
Yep. It's
Represent.
612 up in my joint.
Nice. 512 in mine.
And 312 here. With a nice breezy temperature of 98 degrees today.
Nice.
Wow.
Nick Lachey.
I haven't heard of that band in a while.
No pun intended on that.
Well, you nailed it.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about, Nick Lachey? I'm like, oh yeah, 98 degrees.
98. It took you a minute to connect those dots.
I didn't really listen to them, so, you know, I was an NSYNC and Backstreet.
Yeah, they were pretty irrelevant.
Yeah. I mean, it was a nice shot, you know, but it's all
cute.
about NSYNC. That's cute.
Were they that band that sang that song, I like girls that wear Abercrombie and Fitch?
No.
Oh.
See. Yeah. That was a good song. And that was by I don't want to say because I think that makes me look bad.
Say it, Nick. Nick was obsessed
Chinese
with Hanson.
food makes me sick.
Yes. It was like a 3-letter band or something. It was like an abbreviation or something. And
TLC.
That's all I know. No, it wasn't TLC.
I love TLC. How dare you?
Yeah. Who doesn't like TLC? Little TLC here and there, you know?
Right.
How dare you?
We get the guitar out. We did say we were gonna. So just so everybody knows, okay. I do understand. We do understand that the title of the episode is WTF.
Yeah.
Where's the focus? And I'm sure you've picked up by now. We have no idea.
We have no focus.
We have no idea where the focus is. But no, we did really want to talk about that, and I think that's going to help us get to know you better, Genna. Get to know you, Genna the professional and Genna the dreamer. And I talked to Audrey about that just a little bit on text message before we decided, once she told me you were coming on, and I was like, oh, cool. So, because I don't know a whole lot about you, but I want to talk about kind of. It seems to me like just based off what Audrey shared with me that you really do have corrective perspective when it comes to prioritizing what it is you are chasing after. And I'm a big proponent of, putting my happiness over money. And I think a lot of people, and myself included, up for quite some time, you get that backwards, and or just society teaches you that you got to chase money to be happy. Right. And I mean, it starts with education, starts with college, it starts with, it's all paper, right? Whether it's a paper degree, right. Or money. But Audrey kind of was sharing with me a little bit of insight, and I was hoping we could kind of dig a little more deeper into that and kind of tell us, I guess let's start with, what do you do right now? That would be cool to know.
Well, if there wasn't COVID-19 right now, I would be in Manhattan. I'm a personal trainer out there in the West Side.
Nice.
And she's at like an awesome gym.
Started at Equinox out there, and I got my certification through National Academy of Sports Medicine, and I've been enjoying it a lot. I will say, for the first time in my life, I am only working one job.
Nice. Congratulations. Congratulations on only having one.
I'm gonna cut Genna off for a moment because I need to have you and the listeners understand how hard of a worker Genna is. Okay. God, when did we meet? We met like a few years back.
We met 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Okay.
2016. 4
years, guys. When she was out here in Vegas, she never worked less than like 3 jobs. And she worked 3 jobs, whether it was being a cocktail waitress at the pools here, dealing with drunk people, idiots, she was emceeing at a popular bar here that's called Sake Rock, which is freaking awesome though, because it's like a show and sushi. Where else? She did stuff with what was that thing with
nonprofit organization, Culture Shock.
Well, yeah, you did Culture Shock, but you also did like she like sold alcohol too. Okay, so she had those 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Then this is what she loves.
Model.
Yes, there you go. Promotional models. And then so she worked all of that, managed to jumble those jobs in a freaking 7-day period, right? And then still make time for doing what she loved to do, which is dancing. So she actually taught like, didn't you teach some kids like ballet or ballroom dancing?
I taught them hip hop. And ballroom dancing.
And ballroom dancing. And so Culture Shock, she'll go more into Culture Shock too, but it's a non-profit organization out here that like just gets kids together and the community, like people who love to dance and want to learn to dance, they all do it. And I believe it's a free service for the kids. You can.
Yeah, it's for the less fortunate kids who don't really can have much of a good parental background and support. So we're there to help them and try to get them in a better place.
That is so
Teach them about community and, how to be creative, how to respect. And
the Culture Shock here, it's like that opened my eyes, to that whole scene with Genna, that it really helped those kids. And I think you touched more people's lives than you can imagine, Genna, with that. But so I want you to imagine, I used to get so frustrated with Genna because she had worked 3 jobs, get off 2 of the jobs, 1 of the jobs, whatever, go do the Culture Shock. And then after doing that class, she would want to do like freestyle by herself or with her friends, and they would collaborate and do these dances. And she performed for like these famous Latino pop star guys, and like she traveled to LA. So she did all this. And I remember I used to get so upset with her because she would still find time to try and hang out with friends. Like it was a struggle for her to find time to hang out with her friends. And she always felt like she was disappointing her friends if she couldn't hang out. And Genna, I'm sure you remember me constantly snapping at you for this. I was like, when she moved back to New York, I said, I don't want you to go there and have 4 jobs. I said, I want you to be happy. So with her finding the 1 job, I'm so happy. And I think I got on you a little bit because you were saying something that you wanted to become a bartender. And I was like, no, you're going to stick with 1 job. And that's it.
Well, I think it just comes with being like a people pleaser.
Yes.
I've always wanted to make people laugh, make people happy. And I come from a hardworking background. So I always wanted to make my own money and be independent. And I think it's because, my parents both immigrated here from Italy, and, they set an example of how to come here and basically, live the American dream and how to make that happen. So for me growing up, it was kind of like, well, I need to do that too. Like I need to work really hard. And so, they instilled a lot of really powerful things in me. So at the age of 15, I wasn't even allowed to be working legally. I found a job and, I was working under the table, and I worked all throughout high school. And then, it was just kind of like a norm for me, like busting my ass and like making my own money. And I liked making my own money. I didn't have to rely on anybody for it. But when I finished college, of course, like everybody is in debt, right? You're in debt and you got this degree that you don't know what the hell you're going to do with it. I got a degree and like, I laugh about it, but like, I got a degree in dance and theater. Like, what do you do with that? But, that's a part of
I think it's pretty cool. Because it sounds like you got a degree in something you love and you enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and a lot
exactly.
Of people can't say
And I think that has to do with like where my focus was, right? Like when I first went to college, I didn't know what I wanted. And the only thing I could think of was what I loved to do, and that was dance and theater. So it's kind of like what I stuck with. And I had awesome parents that supported me throughout the whole thing. I know there would be a million other parents that have been like, no, hell no, like you're not going to make any money doing that.
Right.
So like, I'm very fortunate for that. But I realized not too long after that, I can't just get a job in that field easily. It's audition after audition, and getting rejected every single time. You know, you're going to get 1,000 no's before you get that one yes. And it was just hard. So I had to always find a job on the side, right? You know?
Yeah.
And my
Hustling.
dream was, yeah, so basically. And it was kind of like I was addicted to the money, you know? Like I was addicted to making the money and not really realizing how much time I was spending away from the things that I actually valued in life.
What you were sacrificing for the money, right?
Exactly. But you know, my dream was to live in New York City, so I moved out there with a job at this gym that I worked at 4 a.m. till noon, and then I had to get another job, so I worked at a restaurant at Nobu in Tribeca area from 5 to midnight, and then I would wake up and do it all over again. And to get your head in anywhere in that industry, I just decided to do an internship in between the two. So here I am working 4 a.m. till midnight straight through, carried a backpack through the whole day.
Wow.
Slept 2 hours of the night and barely making it by. So that's when I made the decision to move to Vegas. And then I was just, like I said, addicted to it. So that's why I always had more than one job, more than 2 jobs.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it's like looking back at it now, like I learned a lot because, like I said, you're sacrificing a lot of time with your family, a lot of time with your friends for, you know, what little money that you
Yeah.
get from it, you know, and how no matter how much work you put into your job, it's kind of like you're always going to be making the bare minimum. I felt, you know, especially in like the service industry and stuff like that. But yeah, it was nice to kind of
In Vegas,
figure out. What was that, Audrey?
Vegas is, you know, it's a tough city because so many people here, you know, when you come here, you work for the casinos and, you know, the hotels, and you get sucked into it. The money
Oh
will
yeah.
definitely
Oh
distract you
yeah.
here. So
I will say I did get stuck into it, you know, working at Mandalay Bay and Aria and the bars and stuff. Like I was able to pay bills for my mom. I was able to, you know, send money to my brother when he went on vacation or something, you know, like I was able to treat my family like I've always wanted to. So it was hard to step out of that. Um, and like now that I said, yeah, I have one job now, but I honestly like I can't do all those things anymore. But it's a sacrifice that you make so that like you don't get sucked into the nightlife and, you know, being a night owl. And as fun as that is, it was just like unhealthy, you know.
How did you come to realize, though, finally, like the big picture was like, okay, you know, how did you figure that out? Like, okay, maybe where was the tipping point?
I think the tipping point was just realizing that I wasn't happy.
Wow.
I was happy on the outside, like Audrey said, like, you know, I'd work a whole day and then I would go out and party and like, you know, have fun, make people laugh because that's what was most important to me. Like my job at Sake Rock was probably the best job I ever had.
Wow.
But it was realizing like when I wasn't in front of the curtain and when I was behind the curtain, like
Yeah.
it was
That's
just
crazy.
a very unhealthy emotion that I always had. I was always like angry or frustrated and I didn't know why. So,
And you were on all the time. You were basically in front of the curtain, as you put it, all the time. So you had very little time behind the curtain with yourself, it seems, too.
exactly. I didn't have a day off. So my days off were, you know, if I had a day off, then I was lucky, or my days off were considered just like half of the day off, you know? I get the morning off to myself or I get the afternoon off to myself. So in those times, I mean, I think towards the end a little bit when I had, you know, my apartment and there on Las Vegas Boulevard, and I was in it by myself because at the time my roommate moved out, so it was before Audrey came and saved me. Um,
Girl, you saved me.
we
won't
saved
go
each
there.
other.
Yes.
But it was in that time where I did a lot more self-realizations, kind of like what I'm doing now through this time, and where I feel like everybody should be, but just kind of figuring out how you can get inside your brain and inside how you feel and what you can do better. Journaling and things like that, meditation.
I love it. I'm a journaler. I think journaling's great. Journaling's a great thing. That's awesome.
Yeah, because
So
oftentimes you tell yourself you want to do something and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. And you like have this grand plan of how you're going to change your life and swing things around, but then like you forget about it. Whereas
right.
if you just like write it down, you'll be good and you have a reference at least.
Yeah, I've had to do that. I still struggle with it, but try to take a bite-sized approach. Just like wherever possible in life instead of trying to take on the whole thing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like
Yeah.
it's hard for me to move anywhere if I'm sitting there over analyzing everything and trying to paint the entire picture first before actually dipping my brush in the paint and doing something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have to like have the whole thing. It's stupid, really, to think that way, to think that you have to have everything figured out first, because nobody does. Nobody ever has.
Nope.
Right? Even all the most successful people in the world, the people that have had the greatest impact on the world, same thing. Like they didn't have it all figured out. But that's what everybody sees. Like to your point, right? Everybody was seeing the what did they call it at Disneyland when they're on stage? Do they call them on stage? Do they say on stage? I thought they call it something else.
What are you talking about for?
You guys are more into Disneyland than I am.
Well, Disney employees, whenever they're working, they're backstage.
When they come out from the backstage, then they're on
anyways,
stage.
Yeah. So whenever you were on stage, like you on set, I like that. Whenever you were on set, which was all the time, right? 20 hours out of the day, basically. Mm-hmm. That's what, that's kind of what everyone would have thought, right? Because that's all that's being highlighted. Mm-hmm. Right? Is like, she's living the dream. Like she's got no issues, no worries. She's got to be the happiest human alive. And it's not the case, because the other stuff never gets showcased. And same is true for people that work hard, right? All of the success you have now, I'm sure it's just super easy for somebody to look at Genna and go, man, she's got it made. That's cool. Like, because how often are you going to have this conversation with somebody where you're talking about the struggle, the grind, the failures, right? Every time you got the wind knocked out of your sails, that rarely ges talked about. I'd like for more and more people to talk more about that than we do about the win. But the win is just so much more fun for everybody, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's my dogs.
My
actual dogs, not my boys like coming out from across the street with a beer in their hand. Like it's my dogs, my animal pets.
Yeah. I think that's also like part of, I don't know, kind of, it definitely stems from vulnerability, but at the same time, like, I think if people want to keep going, they're just going to keep thinking about the go instead of what's holding them back.
Yeah.
So I think that's why, I mean, I would tell Audrey, obviously, if I was like feeling some type of way, or, my mother and stuff, but regardless, it's like you kind of want to not entertain the negative thoughts that you have, or like the bad things that happen, because you learn from it and then you want to keep going, and it only makes you, stronger for the next obstacle.
Right. You don't want to put too much stock into those things, because what's it going to get you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But it's nice to look back at them and be like, oh, wow, like, I've learned so much from that. And then you're able to reciprocate that for whenever you have to, make a decision later on.
I like it. Audrey, are you even still with us?
Yeah. I'm just so like mesmerized.
I just got a picture of you like eating Cheetos or something while on mute and just watching a movie. And
I'm actually playing video games, guys. No, I'm like mesmerized because I love hearing Genna's story, and just because like I was able to be, the outsider looking into that. She helped me realize so many different things that we can go down a rabbit hole, but we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. You already know what rabbit hole. Let's not go down that one. But like
that hole ain't good, sis.
Let's not open up that wound.
No, we don't want to open that one. But I'll never forget the first time I met Genna, and I don't know. I think it's a girl thing. I think I've said this multiple times. Where it just sucks as it's a girl thing. That's what it is. It's like when another female meets another female, it's either like you like each other or there's like something that holds me back. Okay. Where it's like, okay, I don't like the vibe that I'm picking up or something.
Female tension.
Yeah. And I mean, I get it from, men too, where it's like, oh, I don't like your vibe, but it's something about girls where I'm just like, nah, you look too catty for me. I don't want your energy or whatever it may be. But when I first met Genna,
judgment. You're just throwing out judgment. It's called judgment. It's all
pretty
good.
Pretty much. But when I first met Genna, I was like, oh, wow, she's super pretty. And then you're there with your mother too. So I was like, wow, she's super pretty. She's here with the mom. I don't know any of these people. It was like freaking 8 people, I think, or something. And I'm like the only one. I don't know anybody. And Genna was so just down to earth and was so humble and like, I guess this is the word I'm going to say, humiliated. Like you were so, I'll never forget the story of the curtain thing where somebody thought you were a janitor and she wasn't a janitor. She was a cocktail waitress. And she was like, just kind of like, oh, okay, thanks for thinking I'm the janitor, and she's all dressed up, all beautiful. But when she told me that story, it reminded me so much of like us, me and Nick. We'll talk about our family now. It reminded me of us because we always make fun of ourselves. Like we never take ourselves so seriously,
Mm-hmm.
So when Genna was telling me that story, I mean, I was dying laughing to the point of like crying. And I just remember I was like, this girl's going to be my best friend here.
Did we just become best friends?
We just did.
I was just laughing and like I couldn't even speak. I was just laughing because I could imagine her in my head of like seeing her do this and then someone coming up being like, "Oh, you're the janitor" or whatever it may be. But so would you like to tell the story, Genna?
The story is that it was when I first moved to Vegas and I was, just getting into I was already in the service industry prior to moving to Vegas, but in order to do the service industry in Vegas, you have to like have experience in Vegas, of course. So it was like my first job. It was downtown Las Vegas. It was at the Grand Pool, Citrus Pool. And they promised me a cocktailing job, but in fact gave me a pool attendant job. So instead of wearing a bikini like the girls, I wore a polo shirt with khaki shorts and a belt. And
keep in mind, it's like 125 degrees too.
Yeah. Sweating my ass off. Sweating the buns off. But I did most of the work. I did more work than the cocktail servers because they were all lazy. And so instead of them doing things, I went around, I handed out towels, I was picking up trash, like I was setting up the cabanas, making sure and our food runner, all of our food runners never showed up to work. So I was running the food. I was doing everything. Sometimes the cocktail servers would be like, I'm too lazy, go run this drink for me. And like, because I wanted to be a cocktail server so bad, I did it because I wanted to practice and I wanted to get good at it. So this one lady, she needed her shade open and we used these long poles, kind of like if you were to be banging this long broomstick up on the ceiling if you're, trying to do something. And these shades, you have to like hit the shade with the stick to get it, opened all the way so this lady can have sunlight, right? And I would do this all day long, whacking these shades over my head. you know, and like getting over these people, and you know, they'd be like, oh, it's not that shade, it's this one, because you know the sun moves, so you got to make sure, you know, that it's the right shade that you're whacking at for about, you know, 5 minutes just to get it open or closed. Why they don't have a button for it, I don't know, but that's the way it was. And I'm sweating here, you know, like sweating dripping down my back. This lady's telling me to open 5 different curtains for her one chair. And she's like, oh, you're so cute. She's like, how come, you know, you're not wearing a nice bikini like all the other, I don't know why I'm making her sound New York, but she probably wasn't from New York. That's the accent I have right now. So she's from New York. So why don't you, why don't you have, you know, a bikini like all the other girls? And I was like, oh, you know, because, you know, like, I'm not a cocktail server, you know, I'm just here to, and then she interrupts me as right before I was going to say I'm a pool attendant. She was like, oh, because you're a janitor. You're part of the janitorial services. I was just like, oh God. I'm like, yep, in fact I am.
Yeah, like you don't want to tell her, you don't want to correct her, you know? Like,
yeah, like, no, lady. I hand out towels and bang shades.
And run the drinks without the tip.
Exactly.
So I think Nick may have stepped away. Maybe he's on a call.
Yeah, because he's not laughing.
He's not laughing at it.
I didn't even realize I was on mute. I was muted because my dogs were barking, and then I never unmuted myself, and I'm over here dying. And I kept saying, she's from New York. Yeah, this is great. She's from New York. And like, I just thought you guys were laughing with me until someone said, I think Nick stepped away. And that's when I was like, I better check and make sure that I'm not still muted.
Yeah.
I was still muted. All of my laughter was not recorded, but it was there, and it's the thought that counts.
Nick's going to put his laughter in post, and his laugh is going to be like,
yeah, I'm gonna sound check it, make sure it's not peaking. It's gonna be crystal clear laughter. It'll just come in right at the right times. I'll time it perfectly.
Yeah, doesn't match our levels at all.
No, it'll be like sitcom laughter. You know, like this was performed in front of a live audience laugh, like one of those to go with your story. So button. That was great. That was great. So when did you meet Audrey?
Audrey shortly after that.
So Genna had told me that story. As you can see, I was dying laughing just because it was so funny, and I think what it was that when Genna was telling me the story, you know, like she said, she was laughing at herself. I
went along with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like she wasn't stuck up saying like, "Excuse me, I'm not a janitor," you know. Right. Like she just took it as it is, and that's exactly how I am. Where if something happens, it's embarrassing. It's like okay. It
happens. What's the point at that point? You're never going to see that person again. You know, what are you trying to win that battle for anyway?
If you're not laughing throughout your whole entire life, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Well, that is what's wrong, is the fact that you're not laughing, right? I think that's for a lot of people. I mean, if you're not laughing, that is probably the problem. I'm serious. I'm a big reader. I like to read, and laughter comes up in a lot of like self-help books, like self-development. You know, especially if you're reading about, you know, how to overcome things like as serious as like depression or high functioning anxiety or just anxiety altogether. That a lot of times people aren't laughing enough. You know, like even people that are down or like just, you know, people you don't want to be around. Look at some of the stuff they watch on TV. A lot of stuff that they're watching is like down, you know, like downer stuff.
Yeah, or they talk down about themselves. And
yeah, laughter is huge. I think laughter is huge. It's a great medicine, and that's why I love comedians.
Yep, so. I wish I could be a comedian.
I swear,
that would be great.
It's just not anybody can be a funny one.
Well, that's why I loved my job at Sake Rock so much, because I would just make people laugh, and I don't know if they were laughing at me or with me, but
they were laughing.
Yeah,
but they were also like intoxicated the whole night, so who knows?
So, at Sake Rock, she was an MC host.
My job was basically to get them drunk, and like, who knows?
She did.
Sounds like a pretty easy job.
She did fake shots with us.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they were not fake, but
Till somebody told. So going back to that story of the janitorial, meeting Genna, okay? In that moment, I told myself, I was like, I want this girl to be my friend because she has the same energy as me, and she's able to laugh at herself because I laugh at myself all the time. And so, our friendship ended up progressing, and I think throughout that friendship, especially like that first year, I was never somebody who thought, because Genna, you're very big on like meditation and like energy, thing like what you surround yourself with, right? And for me, I was never really like that before. I think in my case, it was just, the 5 people that you surround yourself with are a representation of you and where you're going to be going. So, but Nick, you were actually the one who told me that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm sure you heard that from me.
Yeah, you said that when I think I was like 19 or so.
9.
And
you were probably 9.
Shut up.
I was probably hitting you with that gold when you were 9. So that made me about 14, 15. I was basically a motivational speaker.
Yeah, you're really
about grinding. Yeah, totally joking. Yeah, you're right. It was probably a couple weeks ago. Continue.
But when Nick said that to me, welcome to the podcast, Genna.
Yeah, go. I love it because the laughter's there and it's real time. Like usually we're talking and it's just her and I. So I don't know if anybody else would think anything of that, any of that stuff's pretty funny, but your laugh is brilliant.
It's amping us up.
Yeah.
I have to try not to snort.
So when Nick,
Audrey, continue on glorifying me to the public.
And glorifying us, putting up on
just
the
keep it going. Don't stop.
I can't even get it out, guys, at this point.
Don't stop. Just keep going. That's what she's doing. She's like, keep going.
Okay, so when Nick had told me, the 5 people that you surround yourself with are where you're going to be heading, or what's a representation. The way I perceived that was my career wise. And I think it was like that moment where I was like, nope, I want to make money. I mean, still to this day, I want to make money, guys. You could say I'm greedy, but I like making money. So I started. What's my focus? Money. But you helped me change that focus, see, with balance. So I focused so much on my career and any position that I was in. I mean, even when I worked at a grocery store, it was like, okay, how do I get to the top of the food chain? How do I do this? Then I discovered networking, and I was like, oh wow, networking could get you into a lot of nice places. So networking with people, and now I have the career that I've always wanted. But when I met Genna, she was all about like the energy that's around you. So she made me understand just through conversation of her venting to me about maybe another friend or something, or maybe a situation that was going on that week. Because I'm somebody who observes every little detail, maybe a little bit too much, to the point that like I get stuck in my own head sometimes. But observing Genna and her, just hearing her repeatedly talk about, they came to me with this negative energy, and I felt like I absorbed it, and I don't want to take that negative energy in. So I actually had to, close that person off for a little bit until they figure out their own issues or whatever it may be. But I can't remember the person or the situation, Genna, that you were talking about. I can't remember exactly, but I just remember.
It was my job.
Probably, yeah. Which one?
One of my 10 jobs.
The 8th one, yeah. So she kept like talking about it, and that's when I one day it just like clicked in my head, and it made me realize like, yeah, who are the people that I'm hanging out with? Because I was hanging out with some people who were constantly just complaining about their job or their spouse, or it was always about something. And the one thing about Genna, though, is that when she complains for like 10, 15 minutes, and then she like releases it, and she's like, I'm not going to put any more energy into being negative. And so
good.
That made me realize in like, me going to work, when I used to work at Macy's, there's a lot of gossip. It's sad to say, but that's just all there is. And I started to turn a lot of like that away, where I was like, no, I don't want to deal with this. And once I started to kind of like, because I felt myself going down a different path than what I've ever been with. I always focused on work, but then I started focusing on, because I wanted to make, new friends here in Vegas and stuff, that I felt like I was kind of going down the wrong path with some friends, where it was just always negative Nancy, complaining about the job, complaining about the people you work with, complaining about something. And it clicked in me one day where I just thought, like, dang, Audrey, you never used to be like this. You never used to be a gossip queen or negative Nancy about a lot of things. And now that's what I was turning myself into. And then that's when I ended up meeting Genna. And I was like, damn, I need to like pull myself out of this. So in a way, I know I never told you this, Genna, but you really helped me kind of redirect my path when it comes to the people that I surround myself with. So, I mean, it's sad to say I did have to cut.
No, do I got to cue that music now?
I know.
Which one?
The strings and the piano. I got to bring that in.
Oh, they're going to play Golden Girls.
No.
Your
if I had it
friend and
ready.
a confidant.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And a friend.
Hey, Golden Girls is us.
Oh yeah. Big time.
I want to be Blanche.
I didn't know that, Odge Podge.
Yeah. And
super cool.
Yeah, I'm an observer, But that's what I always say. Like, I don't think you realize. And guys, if you find a friend like Genna, or Genna is your friend, you better be putting in 110% into the friendship, because you don't want to lose someone like her. And I think everybody in life has a friend like that.
Aww. Yeah, so sweet. So sweet. I think it's cool that you got to see her perspective really in action. You got to see Jenna's perspective, which obviously was different than from your perspective.
Yeah.
And you got to see hers. I think it was probably like refreshing for you to see it, for one, but to recognize it enough to go and to like see how it's impacting her positively and go, man, I can do that. Like, there's some things in my life, like she triggered for you to take inventory of your friends and like, who am I hanging out with and how much negative energy, like it immediately just, and you're like me, Audrey, right? We're that way. Like as soon as the gate opens, it's like, we kick that thing all the way open, right? we're all or nothing. And I think that's cool. And something that's really, I think is worth mentioning is, Audrey, if you weren't at the place where you were at that point in time when you met her, and you weren't as mature and as you were at that time, to see that for what it was, you would have missed out on that. And a lot of people do miss out on that. All of us miss out on stuff like that, because we actually come across stuff like that could be life-changing probably every day. But most of us do overlook stuff and we don't recognize things like that. And it's really cool that you got to see that, and for what it was worth, right? Because had you been in a different headspace at that time, or, you know what I mean? Who knows? You may not have taken that in and really, allowed it to take root like it did. And that's huge. And kudos to you, Genna, for just being you, right? You didn't have to, your goal wasn't to, like she said, you didn't even realize you were doing it, but you were actually helping pull someone out of something by just being you, by just being kind and, having a true heart and really caring about people, and caring about yourself. Right. Was huge. Yeah. Right. Doing that helped Audrey. I mean, that's huge. I mean, that stuff to me, I think that's what's changing the world for the better every day. And I kudos to both of you guys for that. Super cool. Sorry, I didn't have the music ready to go.
And it's okay. You could do it in post, Nick.
I could. Yeah. I could do it in post.
Well, obviously, like Audrey and I wouldn't be friends if Audrey wasn't her as well. If she wasn't at the point in her life too, where she was comfortable just being herself as well. So,
true.
And the reason why I wanted to keep her in my life was because she was, extremely motivated and was a hard worker too. And that's why you want to surround yourself with people like that. Like Audrey was always trying to climb to the top, and she would get there, like everything she said she was going to do, she did it. And
she's a beast.
that's why I was like, wow, I have to be around this girl all the time, because she, her and I, we're not the same, but we're alike in many ways, and we have that work ethic that not a lot of people our age have anymore. Like a lot of people just think like things just get handed to them, and it's like you have to work really hard.
Well, you can't blame everybody for that mentality, because a lot of them were brought up that way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like just some people were just brought up that way, and they're just, it's hard to wake somebody up from that. Like that's just how they were brought up. There's a lot of good people that are, I know what you mean.
And I'll say that that's something that, like, okay, excuse me, guys.
Like a hiccup. It's like a hiccup burp, like a backwards burp. Or
it's a backup burp. It's like a reverse burp. You ever get those?
I've never understood that, because it's like you have air coming in and air that's trying to come out at the same time. You're like,
isn't that heartburn? I don't know.
Is that what
I know, right?
We call that agita. The Italians call it agita.
Agita. We're Linda.
You're giving me agita.
I'm gonna tell your mother that. I'm somebody, I've told you this before, Nick, that I'm somebody who I always want to learn somebody's background, because that helps me understand them more in the decisions that they make, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it adds context to to everything.
And I like to observe and stuff. And Genna grew up where it was like, hey, get a job and start working. And we grew up the same way, even though mom gave you a truck and I had to earn my car. That's fine. Nick was
to pay.
Oh, and Nick also got a cell phone. I didn't get a cell phone until I was 18. But I mean, we're not counting points here or nothing.
Yeah, but I paid for my pager. I paid for that. And I also paid for half of my truck payment every month.
Oh, half of the truck payment.
I had to pay for half of it every month. But but they did give me a gas card. And yeah, they did. They spoiled me. I'm not going to try to hide it. They did. But
hold on. I'm going to defend Dad. Dad did not spoil you. Mom spoiled you.
Dad kind of did too.
Dad would have been hard on you, just like he was with me and Alyssa.
Yeah, Dad was really hard on me. But I was also still spoiled at the same time.
Yeah. But it's fine. We were all still very fortunate. I didn't have to make a payment because I had mom's car.
Hey, Courtney just walked in. You want to say hi to everybody? Come say hi. Come say hi to everybody.
Say hi to
we got Audrey on with Genna.
Hello.
She can't hear you guys. She's just saying hi. Just everyone saying hi.
Tell Audrey my watch just died, so she gets to one up me.
Ooh.
Oh, thank God, because I didn't want to do a run tonight.
Her watch just died. Or is she trying to pull a sneak attack on you right now, Audrey? Who knows?
I'm watching. She's right behind me. Like 300 points. Just for the listeners, Courtney and I are in a Apple Watch exercise ring contest, and today's the last day, and she's right behind me with like 150 points.
and she's in like several different contests with people, so she keeps it pushing. Yeah,
I'm too scared to do it with Genna, because Genna will kick my butt.
I was just looking at your points compared to mine.
Oh my gosh! Can we? Well, I'm just curious. We don't have to say what the numbers are, but I'm definitely interested to know what the variance is between
it's really not that far off.
Okay.
Wait, between you and me, Genna?
Yeah.
Wait, are we in a competition? I don't see your name.
No, but she can see your name.
I'm sharing. Yeah, I'm sharing with you.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You kicked my butt today. But you should have seen me the other day.
You're right behind me. See you.
I didn't run today. Messed up my ankle. I did a workout, but I didn't run. And that's where my calories are at, is running. So back to Podcastland.
Oh, we never left.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Surrounding yourself with like-minded people. It was pretty easy for me to drop people in my life. especially at the time that I was becoming friends with Audrey. She saw a lot of friendships fall.
Yeah.
Really? At that time, you were kind of cleaning house?
Yeah, but it was for the better, like.
Awesome. That's huge. I love
everything that has happened for a reason, and I'm glad it did. So.
I love hearing that.
And I mean, Genna was there. Okay, Genna will tell you exactly how it is. If she meets somebody where she thinks that they're not going to better your life, she'll be the first one to say it. And
yeah,
there was a few
East
times
Coaster
where
and me.
she's got 3 different levels. She's got American, and then when she goes to New Yorker and then Italian. 3 different levels.
Your New Yorker accent is on point. Do you do Italian too?
Oh God, you should hear her.
Yeah.
Do it. Can you do it?
I love a good Italian. I'll tell you, my favorite comedian is Sebastian Maniscalco. Sebastian, if you ever listen to this, you are hands down my favorite comedian. He is my favorite. Love that man. So
literally cry when I watch him.
Oh,
can you impersonate him?
I've been watching him since he was still waiting tables.
I can't impersonate him because I'm going to do a horrible job. I can't think of a good one right now.
You want some Senka? You want some Senka? I can't do any Italian. I just sound more white when I'm trying to sound Italian. It's not good.
We could do it. We could do a really good Asian.
Do you say Italian as well?
She hates
what?
I say Italian.
Do you say Italian?
I say. Did I say Italian? Italian.
Yeah,
Italian. Italian.
It's
Italian. Now I'm trying to I'm trying to flatten the curve. You see that? Italian? Am I good there? It's Italian.
I got shot in the heart.
Is it Italian?
I'm gonna let you figure that out, Nick.
Is it Italian?
Italian.
Oh, it's just Italian?
Nick's Googling it right now.
I break that.
It's just Italian? Okay.
Italian. Okay.
Italian.
Italian. See, I like that. Now I know how to say it. I'll probably mess it up again. Italian. He's
I'm not the only
Italian.
one.
That's really hard because I do Italian. I do Italian just rolls.
I know
Just
you
roll.
do Italian because Audrey does Italian.
Yeah, Italian just comes right. I blame it on Dad. And the only time Dad ever said Italian was when he was referring to a particular type of sausage. Outside of that, I don't think he ever said the word Italian.
He goes, get an Italian sausage, the mild kind for the spaghetti.
Yeah, that was it. That's how we knew. We're like, ooh, what's that? And I was like, it's sausage and it's from Italy. We were like, sweet.
If I ever made dad's spaghetti for her, they'd have a heart attack.
I'm sure you don't make spaghetti the way we do.
I'm curious now.
Yeah, maybe we should do a video of how we make spaghetti, and then you do a video of how you make spaghetti.
You got the Prego sauce?
Yeah, can you buy yours?
We're already at a rough start, guys.
You don't use that sauce, do you? There it is. Look at me picking up the secrets. They don't use that sauce. They use the other stuff. What do you guys use? If it's not Prego, what's the other? Is there another company out there that makes sauce? Because
we get it from the tomatoes on the vine.
If you're hungry, you want something to eat, you go outside, you pick it.
You get it in the yard. You hungry? There's cabbage outside.
Yes. See, that's different. Okay, so
there's fenugreek out there. You can eat that. If you don't know what fenugreek is, it's fennel.
Dang. Gangster.
Oh my God, I'm
That's
crying right now.
Real Italian right there of you. I'll fix the
you,
little pause and post. It'll come out super smooth.
I'm so proud.
Yeah, why was it so Italian? Why was it?
Yeah, the best was that you had to stop and think about it. You're like,
I did because the Italian just rolls off.
Tell you, Italian.
Let's tell Dad. Let's get Dad coached up and make sure that he doesn't. I already know my kids are both saying Italian. I already know it. Because I'm always like, Italian food sounds great. No, Italian. I sound like this whole time for 35 years I've been saying this. And Genna, today, you picked today, the day of my daughter's wedding, to tell me. I'm sorry, all of my Italy influences are just they're just coming at me. They're just hitting me fast. Like I can't even. I'm trying to dodge them over here. It's crazy.
Oh gosh.
But I'm a big pasta guy. I love pasta. I freaking love fettuccine alfredo. Am I saying that wrong? Fettuccine alfredo? It is Al, right? A-L?
You're great. You're great.
That's my favorite dish. Is that a real Italian dish? Fettuccine. I'm trying. Is that a real it's Italian dish? The fettuccine alfredo. Is that a real thing, or is that like a white person's like? I don't know.
I think it's like a mixture of those two.
Okay. You can be honest. That's like what Taco Bell is to Mexican food, right? It's not really real Italian, because I always look for that first on the menu, and it's never really, if I go to a real Italian place.
Yeah. It's more of like an Americanized thing.
Yeah. It's not like one of the things that's promoted. It's usually like more of the real, like authentic Italian food. Did I say it right? I did it.
He's trying so hard right now. You just keep saying the word.
I'm trying to train myself right away. Yeah, Italian. It's Italiano.
Perfect.
I'm Italiano.
Perfect.
It's a me, Mario. I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know where this is coming from. It's like all, like I said, it's just coming out of nowhere.
I'm peaking hardcore over here.
Toad's my favorite, so I had to throw him in there.
Okay.
So that was fun. That was a good time.
Main goal
You're having a
today
good
is
time.
to find
You're having a good
friends that inspire you and help you
And
focus
laugh.
on what you want to do in your life and what makes you happy.
I love it. Honestly, if you're not hanging out with people that are bringing you value, or worse, if you're hanging out with people that are taking it away, that are actually poisonous to you, right? I say
they are redirecting your focus into the wrong areas.
Mm-hmm.
I say though, do what Genna did. Step up and care enough about yourself to say, that's not worth it to me. I'm better and I deserve better. Peace. And that's any relationship. I mean, you could be listening right now and you're thinking about maybe it's not just a relationship with friends, but maybe it's your relationship with your current significant other, and maybe that's bad for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, any relationship with other human beings. I mean, look at how much we can do. And I'm talking about just us as humans, right? When we have other human beings cheering for us, rooting for us, telling us what we can do. Look at people. I always go to this. Maybe it's a bad example, but I always go to American Idol. You ever watch American Idol?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm saying that right, because it's American Idol. So you can't get me on that. Or is it American Idol? I got this. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So you watch American Idol, and there's a lot of different types of people that go on that show, but look at the people that go on there that have, the support group. Everyone that goes, like, they have that support group. They got somebody there, people there, just there to cheer them on. They're like their biggest fans. And let's face it, some of these people probably shouldn't have made it on TV, right? Like,
Yeah.
some of the people, it's really bad. Like, some of the people I'm kind of like, dang, like, that's kind of messed up that you guys told this person they had the voice of an angel and then put them on national television, and, But my point is, look at what we're capable of doing just when we have somebody in our lives that's rooting for us, that's cheering for us, right? I know of people that don't have that, right? I know there's people that don't have that. I know there's people in my let's call it my sphere of influence, if you will, in my world, or my oikos, right? As they put it at High Desert Church, the 8 to 15 people that have been supernaturally placed in your life, and you're supposed to have an impact. They're there for a reason, right? I can tell you that I have people in that circle that don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad. It's heartbreaking to me.
Yeah.
You know, and all of us, I think if we can be mindful of that, it does two things. It helps us, and it also helps the people around us. If we can continue to think about that, if what I'm saying or what I'm doing isn't adding value to you, then I need to change that. I need to fix that. And if we're talking right now and we're talking about people, you know, to Genna's point, how you have to cut off, you know, I don't like to say, I don't want to offend anybody, so I'll keep my mouth shut on that. But, you know, you got to get rid of the people, the negative energy, as you put it. I like that. Get rid of the negative energy. Sometimes you got to cut it off completely. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't have to cut it off completely. Sometimes it's just, man, I've been hanging out with that person a little too long. I need to maybe close the gate a little bit, right? But you've got to, when you cut those people off, it helps them. And there's some people that are listening right now that maybe you're feeling a little convicted by what we're talking about. You're going, man, I have not been bringing a lot of value to somebody in my life, right? Maybe I haven't been the person that's, helping anybody. Maybe I'm the person that's draining everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
My point in saying that is you need to take inventory of who you're hanging out with. Who are the people that are influencing you, or what are the things that are influencing you? It's all perspective. At the end of the day, it's all perspective. And right, this is my opinion. And it's easy for me still to this day to quickly, how do I put it? I don't want to say like fall into depression, but I can go I can get that far pretty quickly. You know what I'm talking about? Where you're just something can get to you, something can get onto your skin. And I'm not even talking about somebody saying something. Sometimes it's just me in my own head. It's like we're all just like that one decision away, right, from falling into that darkness, and we're all there, right? Even, and Genna, you painted a great picture for us because you were, nobody, I don't want to say nobody, but most people wouldn't have guessed that you were struggling at all, right? When you were on stage, right, on set, we're all there. And so why not make the effort to try to add value to the people that you're with every day? Why not? Yeah. You did it. And look, you got Audrey. We wouldn't be talking right now if you weren't doing that at that time, however many years ago.
And there's no excuse, right? Like it's like you could have a whole day of working and there's no reason why you can't, bring positivity to everyone around you. Although like, however tired you are, however, just fed up with what you're doing. It's like, that has nothing to do with your life. And like, you need to spread as much positivity around you so that the universe can then bring that back towards your journey.
Yes.
I love it. And that's how it works.
Yeah.
Right. That's good out, good in. That's how it works. And I love that you highlight that there is no excuse, because so many times I've used that exact excuse. I've worked all day and it's been a rough day. Right. And I had a rough day at work today. Well, so what am I doing when I say that? I'm justifying that I can now be a sourpuss to everybody for the rest of the day. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Right. Are we all 6 years old again? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And it's funny you say that, because just before we got to Podcastland today, I was in a poopy mood, and it was because of work. Seriously. And I went out to the kitchen and I told Courtney, we're going to record, episode 16. So just, try to keep it down. I don't know if you heard her playing drums on all the pots and pans halfway through, but that was her practicing.
She was waiting for her solo.
You're going to make me choke over here. But my point is, I wasn't in a very good mood, and I'm fortunate that I got to jump on here and chat with you guys. And, I had reason to kind of pull myself out of that very quickly. Some of us need that. Some of us need to schedule some things to make sure that we're pulling ourselves out of that funk. Right. I don't know what that is. Some of us, it's as simple as, hey, I've got to go maybe exercise, or I've got to meditate, or I've got to be alone for 15, 20 minutes. That's okay. It's okay to put that in place for you if that's what you need. you know, you can be the better version of you for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
My little tip there. What else you got, Genna? You're dropping so much gold.
I don't know. Just
Anyone you want to shout out?
I do want to shout out my friend Karen and her Fit Wheels business. Everyone's kind of struggling right now, and she's got this
Fit Wheels.
She had this beautiful, Fit Wheels. She was going to be on the podcast, I think, whenever we record next week, or we'll plan it. But she wants to be on here as well. But shout out to her for dreaming of having a dream and getting it done. She dreamt about getting fitness for kids at school districts, so she managed to save enough money to buy a double-decker bus. She renovated it, turned it into a traveling play fitness area for kids.
That is too.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
We need to share that. We need to get that on the Stretch It Out podcast social media.
Yeah. So she is awesome. She's another saint that I've been blessed to know. So yeah, just support. Also, my Instagram that I've been putting workouts on. If people want to do high intensity working out.
And I'm sorry, there are no excuses, guys, because these workouts are literally home workouts. She finds stuff from around the house and she does these workouts. So no excuses.
Yeah. I've upgraded a little bit lately though with dumbbells. But they're like 25 minutes long. They're 25 minutes long. So 25 minutes out of your day to get a good workout in.
That's pretty cool. And how do we do that? Yeah. How do we check that out?
On my Instagram.
I think we got a bad connection.
Can you still hear me?
Sorry, go ahead, Genna. We can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
On my Instagram, my Instagram name is so stupid. It's Gains.
No, it's not.
Gains with G. So GAINZWITHG.
I like it. I think it's catchy.
So yeah,
it is,
Gains with G.
I'm always trying to get them gains. Trying to get them gains.
I'll have to share your tomorrow's workout on the social media page.
Yeah, I know. I haven't even posted today's at all, but that will be up shortly.
The photo is actually really cool too. It's her like mid-air jumping.
Oh, that's cool. An action photo. I should do one of those.
Action shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna do an action shot for my photo. Well, it's all about camera angle. It's all about camera angle.
It's all about the angle.
You know? I can make an inch look like a couple inches.
I don't jump that high.
Right? Yeah. I'm not trying to show off or anything, you know?
It's not a competition.
It's never a competition with the Stretch family. It's always a competition, and it's usually who can eat the most. That's usually our competition.
Yeah.
When we're together, that's it. Like, we're just always, when do we eat next? Do you do that?
Sounds like I can do that with you guys.
Italian families do that?
Well, yeah. I mean, considering that we were disciplined if we didn't eat more than one plate of food.
Oh, gangster. Yeah, that's
Genna
awesome.
Put it away.
Well, because I was like, Nana's not going to love me if I don't eat another plate of her food. So
yes.
And this is
I
pasta,
love that when you go to any
gentlemen.
Italian restaurant, they're giving you bread and oil and stuff as soon as you sit down, right?
Yeah.
Most, I don't know. It's kind of like
you're hungry.
Yeah, and it's like super filling though. Bread, it's like super filling. But
they love bread.
Yeah, I'm a huge bread guy. I can't eat it. I haven't been eating it lately because I'm trying to. That's my own fault. You know what I mean? I let myself eat too much bread for a while.
Yeah,
for 35 years.
I mean? Yeah, it took me a while. And then when I realized I could probably fill a bra out pretty easily, I was like, I should probably stop eating so much bread. So
You know you're living.
I still think it's delicious, though. I still think it's delicious. I'm still a big bread fan. Any other shout outs? Audrey, any shout outs?
I want to shout out also, so Karen goes by the other name Venetia, so just so that doesn't confuse you, Nick. Because I was
Venetia.
Yeah, I was super confused. Yeah, okay.
I was texting Nick. I was like, Venetia and Genna want to come on, and then you said Karen, and I'm like, I don't know which name she goes by now at this point. But
is she gonna go by a different name by the time she comes on the podcast, or
no? She's gonna go by Karen. Her real name is Karen.
With Karen, that's easy.
See, she was introduced to me from you, Genna, as Karen, but then your mother started calling her, or no, you said Venetia, and then your mother called her Karen. Fun fact, though, I was with Genna and Karen the very first time I ever tried boba. That was my first experience.
Nice. Never
we'll talk
tried
about that. Really?
Yeah, we'll have to do a whole podcast on boba.
Oh my God.
I basically forced you to like boba so that you could just go and have boba with me.
Yeah, but now I just do it with aloe. I don't do it with the boba anymore. It's a lot of calories per ball.
Nice.
No one's counting calories per ball.
Yeah.
Dude,
no one's
it's
doing
like
that.
It's like 8 to 15 calories a ball.
Just as long as it's non-dairy.
I can tell you.
Yeah, give me dairy for Genna. So my shout out is I'm sorry that Karen couldn't make it on today, but I am
Sorry, Karen.
looking forward to when she is available and when she can come on. I'm super excited because Karen is, I swear that woman should be a motivational speaker. Every time she speaks to anybody, she gets straight deep to the soul.
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
She's got some really great juicy topics to talk about, so it's gonna be good.
I can't wait.
And her business with Fit Wheels, I want to oh gosh, I feel like I have so many shout outs and I should have written them down, but I didn't. It's bad. Shout out to Courtney for challenging me this week, because I probably wouldn't have been as active as I was if we weren't in a competition. And I think that if we watch Chargers, she will beat me. This is how close it is, folks. Okay, it's pretty close. And I want to give a shout out to our family. You know, I'm sure I put some stuff up on the group chat, our family group chat, and now my entire family is very worried about me. I shouldn't have done that.
Oh, you're good.
But I was relieving my stress with everything that's going on with unemployment and all that stuff right now. But made me feel very secure that if I ever needed anything, it gave me a reminder that my family's there for me. So shout out to everybody.
And my family's there for you too.
Oh yes, Mama Maria is here for me. Mama Maria takes care of me, guys. And Uncle Rich keeps the peace.
Yep. She's the spaz and he's the peacekeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This family should have a sitcom, like not a sitcom, a reality TV show. I'm not gonna lie, it'd be great. I'd watch it.
I got to listen in on you guys the night that you didn't disconnect from the podcast. So that was interesting.
That's right. We were talking about politics and stuff.
Oh,
yes.
Jesus.
It was crazy. And I was just listening and I was like trying to like say, hey, can you hear me? Hey. And then I finally started texting her what she was saying. And it took Audrey a minute because she was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I'm repeating everything that's going on in your conversation. And it took her a while to kind of finally connect that like, okay, Nick can hear everything that's going on. And I finally told her.
Yeah, he was like, your mic is still hooked up and I can hear you. And I'm like, oh, dang, the mic's in my room and this is a good mic.
Yeah.
Because it was in my room and we were in the kitchen.
Any other shout outs before we end this thing? I got a shout out.
Nick's got a shout out
to you, Genna, for jumping on. Shout out to you. Thank you for
well, thanks for having me.
Taking a minute to jump on. I mean, seriously, these are cool. These are awesome. If nothing else, it's cool. These are cool conversations that are like a great way to record a place and time that you can come back and visit later on, which I think is awesome. Mm-hmm. I'm excited that, my kids will have all these, right? But think about it. We're going to keep this thing going for who knows how many years. And who knows how many more episodes you're going to be on, but I really appreciate you jumping on. Appreciate you sharing a little bit about yourself and your story and how you met Audrey and the impact that you've had on Audrey. I think is pretty cool. So you're a good person. You got a good heart. And I think you need to just keep doing what you're doing. Keep your head up, keep grinding. I think the hard work thing, you probably already know this, but we never break the tape on that.
Yeah.
The hard work never stops. And I think that's why it's so important that when you apply hard work, you apply it to the things you love, because that's what's going to really bring you happiness. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think keep doing your thing. I admire you for it. And I hope we get to chat some more. I hope we get to meet you one day in the future. Like in person.
You will.
We will. We're going to go to Texas once all this is done.
We're familiar now.
Yes. I love it.
You kids
shout out
Italian.
And then I think we're good. I think I'm ready to start slowly bringing in the music here.
We're fading away from Podcastland.
We're gonna fade back to reality. Always want to. I love it. Hey, shout out to all of our listeners. Thank you guys so much. Yes. Our friends, our family, we love you guys. Thank you to those of you that started listening that aren't part of the inner circle. I mean, you are now, so
yes.
Sorry about that, but no, I'm seeing all the people listening from all over. It's pretty cool. I appreciate it. Keep listening. Hopefully, we added some value to you in some way today. And again, that was one more time for the listeners. Your Instagram, Genna.
Games with B. GAINCWITHG.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Love y'all.
Arigato.
Peace.
Toodles.
This episode's secret word is boba.